Welcome to 5 addictive strategy games. The first one on our list is going to be a critically acclaimed top-down tactical war game known as Close Combat Gateway to Kane. It has tanks, artillery, airstrikes, and you'll be commanding a British infantry officer across the Odin Valley to take on the well-equipped, well-supplied Panzer Grenadier Army. Strap on and dive in. This is Close Combat. Close Combat has everything you've come to expect from a World War II game that takes place in the Normandy theater. It has tanks, it has airplanes, it has artillery, it has gripping and fun gameplay. But overall, I really do love the Close Combat series. I always come back to it because you're not going to have a bad time playing it. The smoke effects, the particle effects, the airstrike, it's all just fun. It shows, the model's dated, but this type of gameplay is always so much fun to play, especially if you don't have a lot of time to sit there and figure out what you want to do for the day or how you want to plan your strategy. You're always going to have something to look forward to with Close Combat. It's quick, addictive, fun, and at the end of the day, if you just want to see your Shermans take on Panthers and Tigers or your Fireflies on the battlefield in a real quick fashion or manner, you can't go wrong with Close Combat. And I truly always recommend these games, especially when they're on sale, because they're fun to play, they're easy to pick up, and they're just good introductory war games. They do have an addictive gameplay loop, because this video is about addiction. So they do have a fun little addictive gameplay loop, and a lot of that comes from just the ease of access to it. While the AI is always something I think can be improved upon, the AI seems to be omnipotent on the map. They always know where you're at. And for some reason, the tanks can sight my Shermans through the smoke, but that's nothing too much to worry about. So let's just dive into a few of the details and what the game comes with. So like most Close Combat games, you have at least 65 vehicles, 36 infantry units, and 77 weapons. There's always new vehicles, right? Remember, we're entering a new theater, new vehicles, so you're going to have artillery barrages, rolling barrages, Churchills, Achilles tanks, and the Firefly tanks. A lot of these games really sell themselves on new features and new equipment and new theaters. So honestly, Close Combat's just one of those fun, addictive games, easy to pick up, easy to play, and you get to explore the Normandy theater and just generally outnumber and outgun the Germans, which is always fun to do, especially when you're on the Western Front. It's always a fun little theater to explore. Overall, pick it up on sale. I highly recommend it. The next one on our list is a gorgeous, beautiful, and cozy city builder combined with puzzling. If you're into city builders or if you're into puzzling games or these beautiful and kind of unique looking graphics, then I guarantee this game is for you. And it retails for about $10 right now while it is on sale. It just came out of 1.0. At the end of the day, these city builders can be extremely fun and extremely cozy because the gameplay loop is super simple and you're just trying to min-max resources and really make your map look and feel beautiful. And that's something that I really truly enjoyed about TerraScape. So the game is called TerraScape, and it has high replay value, a great soundtrack, and it does have co-op and multiplayer modes. I primarily play the single player mode because I'm kind of a boring person and I want to play games by myself. So at the end of the day, there's kingdom mode, scenario mode, puzzle mode, weekly challenges. So overall, it's a well-supported, well-developed game, and I had a ton of fun playing it. Personally, as you see, my cities kind of just end up being sporadic as I try and achieve these like major objectives and just win the game. And I wonder if other people are going to do that as well, where it kind of devolves into less of a beautiful city and more of a min-max fest. But it's just one of those cozy games. You can play it at your own pace. It does combine some deck building. However, there is no free deck building. There's no combat. So if you're used to this kind of game, which on this channel where you're looking for a hardcore, high-intensity combat, this isn't going to be one of those games. But at the end of the day, you are trying to do your best. And on this channel, we try and do at least our averages. So here, as you see, I'm just trying to min-max everything, get the most I can out of my grain fields, get the most I can out of my berry fields, and just really enjoy this game for what it is, which is just a fun little cozy game that you can just pick up and play. And when I talk about addictive types of games and addictive types of gameplay, what I really try and lean into is that high replayability and the ability to relax while you play them. Because that's generally what makes a game really fun, is you have that both competitive aspect and that relaxing aspect where you can just play at your own pace and just enjoy everything that's going on. Are trying to do your best, and on this channel we try and do at least our averages. So here, as you see, I'm just trying to min-max everything, get the most I can out of my grain fields, get the most I can out of my berry fields, and just really enjoy this game for what it is, which is just a fun little cozy game that you can just pick up and play. And when I talk about addictive types of games and addictive types of gameplay, what I really try and lean Speaking of addiction, what's more addictive than pitting two brothers against each other, ratcheting the hatred and anger and jealousy up to 11, and then throwing a common love interest between them? This is Norland, a medieval colony sim. We're going to be facing off against class conflict, a religious struggle, political treachery, and you're going to tend to your people's needs and uncover lost knowledge of a fallen empire. Norland was given to me for free by Hooded Horse, so let's dive into what makes this game so much fun, so addictive, and exciting to play. The unique stories you're able to craft are what make these games so much fun. Not the land management or the economy, it's always that fun story that evolves over time. Whether that's two brothers fighting each other to the death, or if that's just leading a massive harem of women and lords. There's always so much fun, and so much fun to watch these stories unfold. And it's why I keep coming back to these colony sims. Norland's just another iteration into this world, but it's one that takes a new and unique approach. It kind of minimizes some of the land management and really focuses in on the lords and political classes. And I think that's a lot of fun because you can buy slaves or prisoners as they're known. You can put them to work, you can feed them, you can do executions. There's all kinds of fun things. And it really just evolves around a core set of individuals, while there are peasants on the field as well. Leading the armies to battle is always a ton of fun to play. You can add unique challenges in this game. You can add unique events, or you can just kind of have a boring, bland time. The game is early access. I want to see how it unfolds over time, but from what it looks like right now, it's a lot of fun to play, and I really suggest it, especially if you really like these types of games. The core gameplay at its roots is extremely rock solid. I mean, we can't lie, this gameplay has been defined for quite some time, and this is just another iteration into that. It takes a unique approach with political treachery, political and class struggles, and religious struggles. At the end of the day, these colony sims have been around for quite some time, and developers are just finding their own unique take on them. So at the end, what's really going to hold it back, or what's really going to make it great, are the stories it can tell and the different mechanics it can implement. One thing that's interesting, you're always going to have a trader coming to town trying to sell you slaves, trying to sell you books. You research things with these books, and you put your lords in charge of manors, breweries, and other sorts of things, and they end up training your peasants. It's a fun game. It's addictive. It has a lot of addicting qualities, but it's really what's going to make it addictive is the story it's going to be able to tell. And there's some fun, unique things you can add, but it's in early access. Let's see how it develops over time. The next one on our list is Combat Mission Red Thunder. Yep, that's right. This one takes place on the Eastern Front, and it's an absolute challenge. It's unrelenting. The oncoming storm cannot be stopped. This game is extremely cinematic, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, and just watching my own gameplay makes me hyped to play it. I really enjoy Combat Mission. I have so much fun creating videos for it, and I think you're going to have a ton of fun just playing it. So you're going to be fighting through the swamps of Belarus, you're going to be fighting at the gates of Warsaw, Poland, and at the end of the day, it's another iteration in the Combat Mission series, but it takes place on the Eastern Front, that front that everyone really wants to know about. The largest tank battles, the massive human losses, and the unrelenting challenges that both the Soviets and Germans faced. There's new terrain, new vehicles, new features, and it's just so much fun. Like these combat mission games, that you just create truly cinematic experiences and tell really unique stories. The gameplay and the gameplay is fun. It has all that combat mission feel to it. You can play in real time. You can play by email. You can play turn-based. And at the end of the day, these combat missions are just fun to play. They put you against really unique and challenging situations, and there's over 18 standalone battles and a ton of quick battles. The game does retail for $60. You can pick up the Battle Pack and Fire and Rubble, which are two DLCs that came out for this game. Personally, Combat Mission is one of those games, if you're looking for a more hardcore war game or more hardcore strategy game, then that game's always going to be Combat Mission because it has really uniquely modeled features, it has a unique gameplay element, and they really focus on that core gameplay with their core engine. So they could just create new iterations on new fronts, but at the end of the day, the gameplay is rock solid and the foundation for new games is absolutely there. You're going to have a ton of fun playing it. I personally play it from time to time, and I try and create fun, unique videos. If you're just looking for one of the more hardcore, more intense, more realistic war games, and one of the more addictive war games, then you're not going to go wrong with Combat Mission. It has an easy-to-use replay feature, so you can create those unique cinematic moments and share them all over the internet with your friend. The realistic physics are unmatched, the ballistics and battlefield effects are unmatched, and you're never going to have a bad time playing Combat Mission. So make sure you check it out, especially if it's a type of game you're going to enjoy. Welcome to Graviteam Tactics. This one is actually high intensity World War II combat, so we're going to strap on our battle boots, we're going to put our helmets back on, and we're going to dive back into our tank. Graviteam Tactics does take place on the Eastern Front as well, and it has so many DLCs. It has unique ballistic physics, and it's one of those non-stop, unrelenting war games that once you pick up and get addicted to, you're not going to stop playing, which is why it's been supported for so long. The graphics look absolutely gorgeous. The controls are a bit wonky, but they're easy to use and easy to learn, and the gameplay is just so much fun. Watching the smokes land on the battlefield, watching the artillery barrages, watching the tank combat, it's so much fun. It's a sight to behold, and you're never not going to have fun with Graviteam Tactics, especially with the low micro. So it's not a micro-heavy game. You do have a lot of units at the initial start of the battle, but you don't micro them so much because there's command orders, there's command delays. So if you start giving excessive orders to your infantry units or your tank units, or they get out of range of your command elements, then they're going to be slow to respond. They're going to break easier. Their morale is going to break, and it's just going to take time for those orders to flow down the chain. At the end of the day, it's a hyper-realistic, extremely fun war game to play. You're going to have a lot of fun with it, especially when you can pick it up on sale for like $10-$20. There's a ton of DLCs for it, so if the initial front doesn't do it for you, you can even play some modern gameplay. You can play Iran-Iraq War, and there's a few other DLCs for you to explore. Not to mention the battle editor, where you can pit modern equipment against World War II equipment. There's a ton of different scenarios. The models look fantastic. There's a ton of features that a lot of people don't even know about. And it's one of the reasons why I started this wargaming channel, because I wanted to explore the game and show people how amazing Graviteam Tactics is. It's unfortunate I haven't touched it in a long time, but I always recommend it to people looking to dive into the series. One, it's extremely cinematic. You're going to find something to look at all the time. Two, it's easy to pick up and play. And three, it's been well supported for a long time, so there's a ton of content for it that's well researched and well put together.